All right, today we are behind the scenes with Lamira. What do you have going on today?
Hi. So right now we're actually prepping wires for our wiring harness that we'll be building next week. So I'm currently working on parts of a wire that will be a finished sub-assembly here. This goes to our power supply. This is the AC line, and it goes to our power switch here. Turn it on. So this is just one sub-assembly part of the wire harness that we'll be putting together. I'm doing the green ground wires here, and Caspian, he's prepping wires for other parts of our harness here. So what he's doing is actually soldering the wire or tinning the ends of the wires. So cuts the wires down to length. He used this tool, which is Phoenix Contact Wire Fox tool. It makes it really easy for stripping back the wires and it getting consistent, being consistent with it. So he's stripping back there, and then he'll actually dip the wire into the flux and then solder it on. So here's pretty much a before and after. Wires here, pretty. This basically keeps the wires together as we're putting in the screw terminals or the correct connector for the wire. So this is how it looks before it's soldered, and here's how it looks after it's soldered. Using a flux, give it a nice, clean, even solder layer across the wire. That way, make sure also you don't have any cold solder joints and things of that sort. This is, since I'm actually assembling a wire that has 3 different types of connectors here. We have our connector bins here. So according to the part number that you're working on, it has associated part numbers for the connector that goes on. So you'll grab the bins that are associated with the part number you have and then place the connectors as needed. Jeremy here is also doing the same thing that Caspian's doing. He's actually cutting the wires down to length first. Here's our sheet here. It lets you know what part number you're going to work on at the time. Depending on the part, you know which wire group, so which wire spool to pull from. Verifies that wire spool with the gauge, because we have 2 different gauge size black wires. We have one for our AC line, the other for our DC. As well as here, it gives the length of how long you want to make sure that wire is cut to keep it consistent. So what Jeremy's doing is just measuring the wire out here, keeping it consistent. Once he's done, he'll do exactly as Caspian's doing. Strip back the ends of the wires, stripping back using the Phoenix Contact tool, and tin the ends. Once that is complete, the completed wires will go into the PVC pipe here that has the associated part number on it. This here is Jeremy's working on our mill side, because this is where we're prepping all the wires that'll be used for the wiring harness for our mill machine or HX8610 machines. And Caspian is working on the lathe side, which will be used for our HX710 machines. We keep them separate, that way the wire harnesses are slightly different for the 2, and it makes everything a little bit more consistent. We're not buying more wire than we have to in inventory. Once the wires are completely prepped, sub assemblies are done for each wire, we end up storing them on the other side in our shelves there. Great. So after we finished that, we built this full set here to After we have the wires assembled and prepped and ready to go, we'll actually assemble our full harness here. So right now this is blank, but once we're done with this, we'll put a sheet up for the harness for the lathe side here. We'll have connectors to hold the wire down, and then we'll take all of our sub-assemblies and begin assembling the wire harness, which we'll be doing that sometime next week. But in the meantime, once again, I'm Lamira. Thank you for seeing us behind the scenes of Prep and Wire. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye.